witnessing Jamie Lee Curtis in Freaky Friday. Oh no, Halloween! Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a last minute, not planned at all, second viewing of Halloween. Doug and Rob Walker do first viewings of movies. And this is not a ripoff, everyone. It's not. It isn't. It's not. It's not. I saw Halloween for the first time in high school. I haven't watched it since. I wanted to watch it before I watched the new 2018 Halloween, which the Tamara's never seen, is coming out later today. So I wanted to do like a recap before seeing that. First thing I'll say is that I remembered it being a very good slasher film, and that was the same as when I rewatched it today. It's John Carpenter, so of course, it's really well done, but still, it was like a nice refresher into that lovely memory I have of watching it on some Halloween during high school with friends. I love that in the first Halloween, we also get the origin story. So there's no like need to go off and do that in another film. I just watched all of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films in one day, and it was like, oh, here's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, really good film. So like 7 films in, we're gonna do this unneeded origin story that no one cares. Cool. Cool. So Michael Myers is 6 at this point. His sister is babysitting him. The sister and the sister's boyfriend are going upstairs, and they're like, we're gonna do it. We're gonna have sex. And they go upstairs, and then it's like maybe half a minute, and then he comes back down. Sex? In less than 2 minutes? Oh, well, he's a high school boy. Okay. Well, have good luck, girlfriend. There's a couple really great, hilarious parts that are not meant to be hilarious. This was one of those parts. I just feel bad for her because she doesn't even get off, and then she gets sliced to death by her younger brother, who's weirdly tall in this scene. Then you go to Smith's Grove, Illinois. It's a mental institution that Michael has been at for the last 15 years. It kind of sets up the Dr. Loomis, who has been watching over Michael's, the craft store, has been watching over it for the last 15 years. Though he escapes and takes out the nurse and then steals their car with really not a lot of struggle. I'm a little surprised that he didn't escape before this moment, but it's convenient because now there's cameras. Then you see Laurie Strode, who works part-time as a realtor, and she is selling the Myers household. You see it, it's all kind of worn down. That's where he's trying to go to. And what I gather is that his motivation for killing her is that she's selling it, though I think it's less kind of that, maybe I'm trying to just find, an explanation for why he's killing, and more that he's just a killer. And he ends up back in the hometown, near the house, sees her, follows her, kills her, tries to kill her, doesn't kill her, does not kill her. She sings this song as she's walking down the street, and he comes up and he starts heavy breathing behind her, and it's a great choice for the song. It's like, I wish I had you, just the 2 of us, all alone. It's a smart choice, but I wish it would have been something really ridiculous, like, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Another thing is that you imagine Michael, I have always imagined Michael Myers as this like 50-year-old, strong, creepy, kind of immortal just dude who's like mentally messed up and has had a lot of life experience. But this guy, he's 21 years old, and that it's kind of weird to imagine that. You never do. Like, I imagine him as him with the mask on. I don't imagine him as like just like this really sad, mentally tormented dude who just like he needs a hug. There's a great moment where he's driving a car, and her and her friends are like hanging out. One of the friends goes, "Speed kills," which great. Excellent line there. But then it stops him, and like dead in his tracks. He stops the car. It's like, just imagining him in the car being like, what did you say to me? It's so funny to me. In this movie, there's a lot of this used where you see him, and then in the very next shot, he's not there, but it's the same shot. And it's done like 6 or 7 times. The one that stood out the most to me, though, is that Jamie Lee Curtis is in her house. Laurie Strode is in her house. And she looks out her window, and she sees him. He's out by this laundry. And he's standing there. Shot of him. Then it goes back, shot of her looking at him. Her eyes don't move. She's staring at him. Shot back, and he's gone. It's like, well, okay, we didn't see it happen. But she definitely saw that happen, and her eyes didn't move. So are we led to believe that he just vanished out of thin air, and that she was like, Oh, well, there he vanished. Or even almost worse in that, are we led to believe that she kept her eyes in the same exact position? He just slowly meandered off, and she's just like, interesting. Interesting. What? That's silly. I wrote dog meat. There's a dog that looks like dog meat from Fallout. And I love him. Then I wrote, oh no, dog meat. And it's like, do you even play Fallout Halloween franchise? Because dog meat never dies, okay? He's a resilient AF, especially if you keep giving him stim packs. There's a third friend who you don't get to know very well until this moment where she shows up with her boyfriend. She shows up to the house that Annie was babysitting at because apparently she and her boyfriend were gonna go there and then have sex in a weird room and then like leave. You know, in high school, you can never find a good room. Watching this really highlighted that this was not my high school experience. Watching any slasher that takes place in high school is always like, oh wow, you were lame as hell. Or just like normal, I guess, because they're drinking and they're having sex. I played a grandma in most of the straight plays that we did in theater class, so who's the cooler one? Them, they're cooler. But the friend and her boyfriend show up. Annie's not there because she's dead. And they're like, oh, she must have just went somewhere. Cool, now we can have sex in this random person's home. That's so weird to me. That just fills me with anxiety. More than the rest of the film filled me with anxiety. This really did the trick. They are not supposed to be there. If the people come home who own the home and see them having sex, that's so fucking weird. It's a weird situation. They're like, no, let's just go into the main bedroom, have sex in the bed, drink some beer, we're just gonna chill out for a bit. There's no sense of urgency here at all. One point, the phone is ringing, they're like, no, we won't answer it, because it might be them, like the owners of the house just checking in. That's weird, because Annie's not here for some reason. We still haven't figured that out. They're like, you know what, we'll just pick it up and put it off. And so it's still like on, so the person on the phone can still hear us. And then we're just gonna continue to have sex. And then they're like giggling and making out. And it's so weird to me. That's the weirdest choice in the whole film. What a choice. What a fucking choice. I don't agree with it. It's weird. Or weirdest decision. The boyfriend then, after sex, goes and gets beer downstairs. And then Michael shows up. And he dies getting beer. And that's how I'd like to go out. I also love that the boyfriend dies from one stab wound. Michael like lifts him up, stabs him into the counter, which that's a long knife. And he dies from one stab wound. It's kind of like, more so that he dies from fear than stab, because the stab, like, everyone gets stabbed so many times in all slasher films, and they're like, oh no, blah, blah, blah. Like, I just watched all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, and in the second one, this radio DJ guy gets hit in the head like 100 times, and it's like, is he dead yet? So, and it's just like the inconsistencies there is pretty hilarious. Then Michael Myers takes his glasses off and then puts a sheet over his head, cuts some eyes into it, puts the glasses over the sheet, and walks in like he's pretending to be the boyfriend. It's fun to think about him doing that. Like, he's denied a childhood, so let him have some arts and crafts, okay? Okay, is that cool with everyone? Cool. Then he kills the girlfriend who's upstairs naked. Obviously, she's naked in a horror film, so yeah, no, she's dead. I love that she dies from being strangled with a phone cord. A very slasher movie, a very slasher, love it. Then in the last 20 minutes of the film, which I forgot, I always thought of it as him versus Jamie Lee Curtis. But in the last 20 minutes, he shows up into her house. She's got 2 kids that she's babysitting now at this point, and she's sitting there, and she's a knitting needle, and she stabs him in the throat with a knitting needle. It's awesome. She runs upstairs, makes sure the kids are safe, sends them out. Michael Myers is still, he's doing his thing. So she goes into a closet. She stabs him in the eye with precision with a wire hanger. She gets his knife, because he comes back, and she stabs him then. Second time though, she lets the knife go. First time after the knitting needle, she lets the knife go. Let the knife go once, shame on you. Let the knife go twice, shame on fucking me, Jamie Lee Curtis, shame on fucking me. After the knitting needle, I just wrote, don't worry, there are 11 movies. He's not dead. You can't kill the boogeyman. But then the doctor, Loomis, comes in, saves the day, shoots him 6 times. 6 times he gets shot. He also had a knitting needle to the throat. He also had a wire hanger to the eye. He also had a stab wound somewhere else. He is still alive. But again, the boyfriend downstairs getting beer gets sliced once. So that's slasher movie logic for you right there. For Tamara Just Saw, this week I am seeing the sequel to Halloween. No, not that one. 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 Not that one. No, not that one. Not that one. No, not that one. That one. Thank you so much for watching my second viewing of Halloween. I really enjoyed it. It was honestly better than I remembered. It was really well shot and really well acted. And I think back on slashers and I'm like, oh my God, so cheesy. But I really enjoyed this. It was a pleasure to watch. I think going back to a lot of slashers maybe might not be like Jason in space. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.